"2020 will bring visible changes. A new decade full of opportunity."
These women joined thousands of other Texans for the 2020 Women's March.
Jordan Hicks here with the incredible, the amazing Mrs. Jamel Hill. Yes.
Bird enthusiasts around the world volunteer to document the avian populations in their community.
Girls, we have a very special surprise this morning for one of our students.
We stand on their shoulders because we believe that they actually had a great footprint, not just for us as a black people, but also us as Americans, as a free nation.
We all feel a deep sense of loss for what he meant to all of us in so many ways, and so many millions of people loved him for so many different reasons.
It's that time of the year again to dust off your boots for the official kickoff of the San Antonio Rodeo.
Sabin is 33 years old. He served 5 years in the U.S. Army as a military linguist.
If it wasn't for DACA, the program, I wouldn't be able to work, I wouldn't be able to go to school.
Fuzzy Texan Animal Rescue believes every animal deserves a second chance.
This job is more than a paycheck.
And it keeps me busy and it keeps me out of trouble.
The nicer it gets, the more difficult and expensive it will be for me to stay in business.
We are going to win and win big here in Texas.
Nearly 13,000 people showed up to support Bernie Sanders.
Federal, state, and local officials broke the news of the first reported Texas case of the lethal coronavirus.
The positives that are in town are at TCID. There are no positives in the community. Everybody's under quarantine, and that's all being controlled very well. So I think that should be a sigh of relief to the average citizen.
She was slated to perform all throughout South by Southwest Music Festival before coronavirus fears forced organizers to pull the plug.
Like many local artists, Data took a major financial hit when South by Southwest was canceled.
Streets that should be brimming with people the first day of South by Southwest are practically empty.
Give them all a little squirt.
Bar owner Bob Woody is doing his part to keep them healthy through the night.
Governor Greg Abbott taking the unprecedented step to temporarily close schools, bars, restaurants, and gyms statewide.
Jack Barth and I are issuing some orders.
Since, Dallas kind of started that and a few other cities followed behind, we were kind of expecting it.
The couple couldn't have predicted that a global pandemic would derail 9 months of wedding planning.
We're just some furniture guys making some medical supplies right now. Nurses, our friends.
Chris Stevens never dreamed her sewing experience would be used to make surgical masks.
The city's mandating that all customers have to wear a mask. You're gonna come back, you gotta wear a mask.
Okay. How are students and parents navigating the water of this new schooling via video chat?
Hundreds of other people are living on the streets of San Antonio during the COVID-19 pandemic.
He's only going into the woods to see if anyone is in need of a medical emergency.
About 80% of the people that were in her condition did not make it.
Audrey Wagstaff now has to carry on the legacy of her child, Robert Wagstaff, after he suddenly passed away last month.
During strict lockdown orders when they're at home, they're counting on us to furnish them with their medication, their checks, their correspondence.
The pair spends their days bringing cars in need of repair back and forth for people that don't want to leave the house.
There you go.
Today, this principal and her staff are opening up the parking lot for 5th grade graduation send-off.
Say his name! George Floyd! Say his name! George Floyd!
I've been waiting the whole
We just want justice for everybody, and that's why we're here today.
Police and state troopers also used tear gas and non-lethal force to get protesters off the highway.
Yesterday we treated a bunch of contusions from beanbags as well.
Thousands gathered outside Austin Police Headquarters Saturday and Sunday denouncing police brutality.
Get up on that curb.
Community journalist Hiram Gilberto shot this video showing Austin police officers taking protester Jared Cornell to the ground.
It is important that we remember that George Floyd was one of us.
The long goodbye for George Floyd fittingly ended here in his hometown of Houston Tuesday. This private service was much more personal. filled with love, hope, and calls for change.
I feel like it just shows a message that they're seen and that they are cared for and that we are fighting for them.
You just moved here?
Yeah, about a month.
Prepping for a hurricane for the very first time. Barely had time to unpack the moving boxes before boarding up the windows.
Mr. Johnson, you're going to be spending the night here at this shelter. Talk to me about what made you decide to leave home.
Come on.
Casildo and her family live in Port Arthur and are scrambling to make sure their properties stay dry.
Finding shelter from a catastrophic hurricane amid a global pandemic.
That's the worst thing, because then you got to prepare for your safety and hope you have everything to keep you safe.
Wyrick made the decision Wednesday morning to shut down all practices at those campuses.
Alex Orgy is throwing dimes, preparing for his junior season.
As long as we get the guys out, then everybody's getting work.
Safe to say, Ryan and peanut farmers everywhere will be keeping a close eye on how next year's baseball season shakes out.
We now know what caused postal delays, which spurred public and political backlash, pointed in the direction of Postmaster General Louis DeJoy.
Student Joshua Garcia is fed up with voter apathy.
I don't think that sometimes young people realize the power that they have.
Oxner is driving to a South Austin polling site where she fully expects on the first day of early voting for there to be a line.
Lupe in Spanish stands for the union of all the people, and the people has gathered to march to the polls.
The Trump train, the Biden bus incident over the weekend, I guess you could argue on the other side that there's probably violence potential from the right as well, no?
I don't see any conservatives talking about violence or anything of that nature.
They tell me no matter what direction the election goes, they hope it will be good for business.
Kamala Harris took the stage earlier, speaking to a socially distanced crowd here in Fort Worth.
Rumor has it that the National Guard's been called. They're expecting riots.
Election officials, along with staffers and volunteers, are still counting ballots.
It was less than a week ago when former Vice President Joe Biden was named the president-elect.
Stop the steal! Stop the steal!
Despite a more than 5 million popular vote gap this time, the Electoral College again made this a close race to watch.
We need a vaccine. So many people are saying that could turn the tide.
Governor Abbott is in Washington to attend a White House summit on the COVID-19 vaccine.
So I just need to find the right time to make sure I do it in a way that I can show the public it is something very safe to do.
The fridge here where we keep all of our vaccines.
Aretha Pingley believes within weeks she'll add the COVID vaccine.
She is the first of many healthcare workers receiving Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine.
It really did not hurt at all.
Every individual, the choices we make every day really make a difference. And as a community, we can get through it together. Be mindful of that as we are with our neighbors and with our friends. Help protect each other and stay true to that.